mama, I have been where you are, feeling like I'm not doing enough, and I'm so overwhelmed, and I feel really guilty, and I'm struggling with perfectionism. But today I want to share 5 mindset shifts that will help you find the same peace and joy and confidence in your motherhood that I've found in mine. I'm Cassie, I'm a certified life coach, and I've been a stay-at-home Christian mom for the past 13 years now. So I know how it feels to be in the trenches of motherhood, and I'm here to help you break free from all of that overwhelm and step into the really peaceful and purposeful life that you really truly deserve. So let's start with one of the most common thoughts that I hear from moms. I'm failing. I get it. I say it all the time still sometimes. You wake up to a messy house, your never-ending to-do list, and your kids asking for more of your time, and it feels like no matter what you do, you are not getting ahead. And so you think to yourself, I'm failing. And that thought can make you feel really guilty and frustrated or defeated. Here's what the coach in me has to tell you. Thoughts create our feelings, which drive our actions. So when you have the thought, I'm failing, it leads to feelings of guilt or shame. And those feelings don't help you show up as your best self. They actually keep you stuck. When you feel guilty, you might react by withdrawing or feeling really overwhelmed or becoming short with your kids. And that's the cycle that perpetuates itself. But the mindset shift that I want to offer you is you really can go from I'm failing to I'm growing. The difference might seem really subtle, but it's really powerful because instead of focusing on failure, you actually start seeing everything as an opportunity to grow. When you think I'm growing, it actually opens up possibilities and invites curiosity instead of that feeling of guilt. It really lets you see the challenge as just a part of the process instead of an indication of your success and abilities. Remember the guilt that comes when you think that you're failing, right? It doesn't feel very good. Compare that to how you feel when you tell yourself you're growing. It feels different. Physically, you feel different. You might feel hopeful or excited or even proud of the steps that you're taking, which at this point is no small thing. You're becoming aware of your thoughts. You're noticing what's actually going on. And that feeling of growth propels you forward instead of keeping you stuck. It propels you to take action, to keep trying, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep moving forward with more patience and more confidence in your motherhood than you've ever had before. And now that you've shifted from I'm failing to I'm growing, you might be wondering how to navigate those moments when guilt and shame still creep in, because hello, we're not perfect, especially after losing our temper with our kids. That happens sometimes. And if this is the case, I will link my video about the day that I realized overstimulation was not the real problem. It's going to dive deep into how to break the guilt and shame cycle. And trust me, it will give you so much insight into how to change your thought patterns. For our second mindset shift, I want to know how many times you feel like everything in the house is falling on your shoulders. You're juggling the kids, the chores, the meals, and somehow you still feel like it's not enough. And maybe you have this belief that you have to do it all yourself. And if you don't, things won't get done the way they should. Does that sound familiar? This belief is exhausting. Trust me, I know. But here's the coaching principle that really will save the day and has saved the day so many times for me. Voicing requests is the key to shared responsibility. So often we're doing it all on our own because we haven't communicated what we need from others. Voicing requests to our spouse or our kids or even for ourselves is a really essential first step to seeing some change. I remember back in the day feeling like I had to do everything myself. My house, my kids, my schedule, it all felt like it was on me. And I also felt like I shouldn't have to ask. My husband should just notice. He should offer. He should know what needs to be done. But that kept me stuck in resentment for a really long time. And so when I realized that I genuinely did want some help, and when I approached it the right way, I was able to create shared responsibility in the home and fully change the mindset from I have to do it all to I'm a part of a team. It's a game changer. Do you see what I did there? Team, game changer. Once you embrace the idea that you are truly part of a team. The next step is learning how to voice those needs and requests effectively. And if you're struggling with how to do that and how to ask for help and feeling like it's impossible to get your family on board, I'll link the video. It's the habit that changed everything in my home, truly. And in that video, I walk you through how to voice those requests, why it feels so hard, and the exact words to use to make it a whole lot easier. And even I'll tell you what to do when your requests get ignored, which could happen for sure. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you believe that your worth is tied to the cleanliness of your home? I used to think that if my house wasn't perfect, it truly meant that I wasn't enough and that I had permission to beat myself up and feel terrible about myself. But here's the thing. You are not defined by the state of your home. And this is the third mindset shift that I want to talk about. I want you to stretch yourself exploring this idea because I know for me it was a pretty far reach. With some work, you can totally go from I can love myself when the house is clean to I'm worthy of love always, no matter what. And I want to teach you one of my very favorite coaching principles. I really want you to grasp this. Your lovability is absolute. You are 100% lovable exactly as you are, always, no matter what. Your lovability has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the other person's capacity to love. So let me say that another way. Your being loved is not about you. What you're doing, what you're not doing, it's about the person loving you. In our daily lives, we often tie our self-worth to how we perform, how well we're doing. If our home isn't perfect and we're not meeting our own standards, we think we're not worthy of love. But the reality is, true worth and lovability are not based on those external circumstances. They're rooted in who you are, not what you do. For just a second, I want you to picture a brand new baby, freshly born. Okay, now imagine a group of people all taking turns holding this baby. Each person surely is having different things going through their minds, but let's just say that some of them don't feel love towards that baby. The fact that they don't has absolutely nothing to do with the baby's worth or the baby's lovability. That baby is completely lovable, right? And nothing can change that. What affects the baby's lovability is the other person's capacity and their ability to love them. So now try to relate that to us in the same way. Your worth isn't dependent on how clean your house is, how organized your pantry is, or whether everything's perfect or not. It's about your capacity to love yourself and accept that you are loved unconditionally. We know that that's true because we know that God loves us unconditionally. He sees us as worthy of love no matter what. And the same principle applies to how we need to love ourselves. When you realize that your worth is not based on your actions or on your home, you can start to soak in that unconditional love that God has for you available and extend the same love to yourself. When I stopped measuring my worth by the condition of my home and started to see myself as valuable simply because I exist and I'm a daughter of God and because I'm loved, the pressure to be perfect truly lifted and I focused on being my best. I wasn't attaching my self-worth to the outcome. I showed up so much better and became a better version of myself. If this concept of self-worth is something that you have a hard time with, I will link the video where I shared the sort of identity crisis that I experienced about a decade into my kind of quitting my job to stay at home with my kids and how I shifted from doubting my worth within my role as a stay-at-home mom to fully embracing who I am no matter what my house looks like. I'll link it. Mindset number 4, I have so been there. Feeling like if I'm not running around doing something, I'm not being productive. Now, I've personally always been a go-getter. I'm a tad addicted to busyness, but here's the thing that I had to learn the hard way. Constant busyness for me leads to regrets. So I don't know about you, but I need balance in my day in order to really show up for my kids and my family in the way I really want to. When I have nothing left in the tank by dinner time, it's really disappointing. Or when I start seeing my kids as distractions instead of the cute little humans that they actually are, I feel awful. That's just not the mom I want to be. The mindset shift is this: instead of, if I'm not busy, I'm not being productive, try, rest and presence nourish me and my family. Okay, rest isn't laziness, it is replenishing. When you take the time to pause and truly be present with your family, that is productive. This mindset is critical for your long term well being and the sustainability of motherhood. When you embrace rest, you actually have more energy to pour into your family and to your housework and to your own growth and like improvement in those areas. I remember thinking back in the day that if I didn't fill my day and my life with tasks, I wasn't doing enough. And when I started allowing myself to really rest, taking breaks, sitting down with my kids, or even having just a quiet moment to myself, I actually found that my family thrived so much more. Rest actually made me a better mom. My energy increased, and my patience grew, and my creativity, just all of it got so much better. The balance between activity and rest is what allows you to be truly productive, not just in what you do, but in how you're showing up. And your presence, your energy, your intention, those are what truly nourish your family, the people there that you're doing everything for. And when you start embracing rest as a part of your productivity, it plays a part in that, right? Everything else starts to fall in place. If you're feeling kind of that tension and um, disalignment between productivity and rest, if you're struggling with the idea that you need to constantly be busy, you're definitely not alone. It's very common, and there's a way to embrace presence and motherhood with a deeper eternal perspective, and I'll link the video when I talked about that. If you are anything like I was, you've probably had moments where you've thought to yourself, I'm not enough. Maybe you felt like you weren't patient enough, or organized enough, or just plain enough in general as a mom. And it's very possible that as a mom you struggle with self-doubt. You might wonder, like, who of us doesn't, right? To some degree. This is a mindset shift that can really change that for you. So, number 5, our last mindset shift, we're going to go from I'm not enough to God knew what he was doing. As moms, and honestly as humans, we often measure our success based on our outputs, on things that are visible and kind of the results, or maybe we base it off of the shoulds that I talk about all the time, and that's kind of based on comparison, or maybe we're basing it off of our external validation, right? If we're getting praised or thanked or those things. But the truth is, we are always going to feel like we're not enough if we're measuring ourselves by an unrealistic standard. But when we start trusting that God actually made us and equipped us for this role, we can then step into a place of confidence and trust. And it's okay to have self-doubt. Everybody does. It's quite possible that if you were to tell yourself, I'm enough, you wouldn't actually believe that. And the whole point of these mindset shifts is they need to be believable. They need to feel real to us. We're not trying to lie to ourselves. If we're not going to believe it, it's not going to be helpful. And so I would recommend leaning on the trust element. So if we decide that instead of trusting that we're good enough, which we maybe don't, we just trusted in God. What if we put our faith that he is perfect, he is all-knowing, and of course, he did not make a single mistake when he made me, right? He gave you everything you needed to be the mother, the wife, the woman that he intended you to be. So instead of focusing on the places that you find yourself lacking, we all have strengths and weaknesses, lean into the truth that God created you for this. And that confidence in him will help you embrace your role as a mom with so much more grace. I will say that when you're shifting from I'm not enough to this trusting that God knew exactly what he was doing when he made you, it is so critical to stop measuring your success by your performance, all of those outputs. I'll link the video when I talked about the lie that I believed about being a good Christian homemaker, and that will really help you and kind of bring this point home for you if you're struggling with that. So these 5 mindset shifts are not just about changing how you think. They're about changing how you actually show up in your home and in your life. They will help you get out of guilt, embrace your worth, and just finally find the peace in motherhood that you have been so desperately seeking and absolutely deserve. If you want more support on how to make these shifts in your life, go ahead and check out my free ebook. It's called You Were Made for This. And if you want one-on-one help from me, you can book a free mini session. Both of those links will be in the description. God knew what he was doing when he chose you to be the mother of your children. You are enough. You're doing great. And I will see you very soon.